Hello everyone, welcome to the UD Telematics web portal training session. Before we begin, please ensure that you have already gotten your username and password to log in into the system. If you haven't received it, please talk to your UD representative. Okay, let's begin. The easiest way to access the UD Telematics web portal is by clicking on the link in your welcome email when your account was set up. Alternatively, you can open your web browser, navigate to udtrucks.com, click on the Services menu, go to Connected Services, and finally UD Telematics Services. Once the page has loaded, you can then click on the Login button to load your login page. Once the page has loaded, you may wish to bookmark your page so that you can return here quickly in future. When ready, please type in your username and password and then click the Login button. Now that the page has loaded, this dashboard you see is known as Track. Let's go through the various elements on the Track screen. Firstly, you'll notice there's a section labeled Fleet at the top left of the page. This is useful if you have different groups or fleets of vehicles, and you can use this section to switch between them. For this video, let's select the Thailand demo truck fleet. Now once we have loaded the fleet, you will see the list of vehicles on the left of the page. As you can see here, there are 3 vehicles. Directly above that, there are some icons. The first icon on the left shows the number of vehicles that are moving, followed by ignition on, and then ignition off. Note that there is a number 3 here, which indicates that all 3 vehicles in this demo fleet have the ignition turned off. The next icon is No Communication, which shows vehicles that have not communicated in at least 8 hours. And finally, the last icon says No Data, which are vehicles that have been registered in the system but not fully activated yet. The search box here allows us to search for a particular vehicle by truck or vehicle ID if you have a large fleet. Now let's move over to the map. In the map, if you have a cluster of vehicles in close proximity, the system will group the vehicles together and show the number of vehicles in that area. For this example, you can see all 3 vehicles in the same general area on the map. Clicking the number 3 will zoom in closer to that area. And as you can see now, one vehicle is located slightly north, while the remaining 2 vehicles are close together. Clicking on the number 2 will zoom in even further, and it shows that these 2 are very close together. If you mouse over any of these vehicles on the map, you will see important information such as odometer reading, last reported speed, and last reported date and time. On the right of the screen, clicking on the full screen icon sets the map to full screen mode, which is important if you want to have this on an external display. Another icon on the right is the Reset Map button, which is useful if you want to zoom back out of the map. Alternatively, you can also use the plus and minus icons to zoom in and out one step at a time, which is also possible by scrolling your mouse wheel. Another icon that may be useful is Google Street View, which you can enable by dragging the yellow peg icon to the location that you want. This allows you to see the surrounding area as recorded by Google previously. Note that this only works if Google Street View is enabled in your country. To get out of Google Street View, click the refresh button near the top. Finally, there are additional map controls which allow you to see details on the map, such as the terrain, which you can toggle on and off, the satellite view with or without labels, and finally, the traffic view, which gives additional details of the traffic flow if applicable. Now let's switch back to map view. On the left-hand pane, if you click on a particular vehicle, the system will not only show you additional details of that vehicle, but also zoom into it on the map. The additional details shown here are the location of the vehicle, the altitude, latitude and longitude, last date and timestamp, the speed, odometer reading, fuel level, direction, engine hours, and the last event, which was ignition off in this example here. If you wanted to know where this vehicle has been previously, you can click on the Trace checkbox at the top. The drop-down menu on the right will allow you to choose different time frames, but for this example, let's choose a custom time. The custom time selection allows us to select a specific date and time frame to start and end the trace report. You can do so by clicking on the various buttons, or you can type the date and time directly into the text box. Once you are ready, click the Trace Route button. Once the trace has loaded, you'll notice a line indicating where the vehicle has traveled. You'll also notice some arrows which indicate which direction the vehicle was traveling. Putting your mouse cursor over any data point will show information about it, such as odometer, speed and date and timestamp. You can see another example here with a different timestamp. If you wish to export the trace as a report, you can click on one of these two icons for Excel or PDF. In the Reports section, there are 7 available reports. Let's quickly go through each one. The Fuel Utilization Report shows fuel consumption data in different vehicle modes, which is useful in analyzing potential areas of improvement. The Fuel Level Change Report shows you when a sudden drop in fuel is detected, providing important vehicle information for immediate investigation. The Vehicle Usage Report shows each vehicle and its odometer readings and engine hours for the selected period. The Driving Journal provides you with fuel and vehicle information per trip. A trip is measured from ignition on to off. The Overview Report shows a summary of driving behavior data for your fleet, such as excessive idling, overspeeding, harsh acceleration, harsh braking, and seatbelt usage. The Driving Behavior Report combines vehicle and driving behavior data into a single report card per vehicle. And last but not least, we have the Fuel Efficiency Report, which gives a score for each vehicle in various categories, as well as comments and suggestions for improvement. This report is only available for the UD Quan. Back on the main dashboard, I would like to point out that there's an icon that looks like the shape of a cogwheel on the top right corner. If you click it, you'll see Settings, Help, and Logout. The settings page allows you to change your login password. Clicking the Help menu will download a PDF user guide for UD Telematics, which details all features and reports, which is useful for reference. Finally, clicking the Logout button will log you out of the system. Alright, we have come to the end of the training session for the UD Telematics web portal. I hope you find this useful. For additional assistance, please contact your nearest UD dealer for help. Thank you and see you next time.